This is an informative and entertaining video. Although it is common to see armed people for the recreation of the content, we do not approve or promote any illegal act or violence. In the early days of 2020, members of Mexico's National Security Cabinet gathered for an urgent meeting at a critical moment. The recording of a phone call echoed ominously from the dark corridors of crime. The secret corridors of Mexican intelligence had intercepted chilling intercepts from the corridors of crime. Chilling the voices on the recording whose authenticity had been meticulously verified by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency hinted at a dark plan in the making. The hitmen, careful not to mention names, were discussing in conspiratorial tones the details of the plan, the details of which were being discussed in a conspiratorial tone. In conspiratorial tones were discussing the details of a high-level assassination attempt and spreading the rumor of the death of the Jalisco cartel's supreme leader. It was as if secrets from the underworld were filtering through the static and echoing through the meeting room, exposing the most sinister in the corridors of power. The two reliable state security sources were confirming the death of the Jalisco cartel's supreme leader. The murmurs of uncertainty and tension spread like a dark shadow among the participants. The minds of those present were entangled in a web of intrigue and danger as they tried to decipher the clues amidst the darkness. The exhaustive analysis of the cabinet outlined 4 objectives. The cabinet outlined 4 potential targets in this grisly puzzle of planned violence. Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard, who had signed off on the extradition of El Menchito to the United States, Director of the Financial Intelligence Unit Santiago Nieto for actions taken against the finances of the criminal organization. Secretary of Security of Mexico City Security Secretary Omar Garcia for the blows dealt to the cartel's drug-dealing structures in the country's capital, and the Federal Security Secretary Alfonso Durazo, head of the government's anti-drug strategy. As a result of this analysis, the protection and security of the 4 officials was reinforced during the last days, and the nation's top boss slept in the military barracks when he was on tour, in case there were doubts. For several years, Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia, El Mencho's wife, lived in one of the most exclusive residential areas of Mexico City, where she lived for several years. One of the most luxurious residential areas of Guadalajara without being bothered by the authorities. But everything changed in May 2018 when she was arrested outside the exclusive subdivision where she lived. Elements of the Criminal Investigation Agency that at that time commanded Omar Garcia closed the way to that night. They read her with visible nervousness that there was an arrest warrant against her for probable organized crime and for operations with resources of illicit origin. The police chief began a strong hunt against the Jalisco cartel. New Generation. The cartel undoubtedly took it personally. The Financial Intelligence Unit in charge of Santiago Nieto blocked the accounts of the heads of the Jalisco cartel. In November 19, Ruben Oseguera Gonzalez El Menchito, son of the leader of the Jalisco cartel. New Generation denounced before the Inter-American Court of Human Rights that he was the son of the leader of the Jalisco cartel. New Generation. Before the Inter-American Court of Human Rights, Mexican judicial authorities for the violation of his guarantees in the extradition process. Months before Judge Uriel Villegas approved the transfer between federal prisons of the son of El Mencho, the most powerful capo in the country, the cartel pressured the judge through Junior's lawyer El Menchito's private attorney, between a play on words that say nothing but at the same time say a lot, and in an indirect way launched a threat against the son of El Menchito. In addition, Mexican Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard approved the extradition of the kingpin's son. That was the last straw in the list of grievances that El Mencho and his cartel received from the Mexican. Kalima Villegas was the judge who changed Ruben Oseguera Gonzalez El Menchito, son of Nemesio Oseguera El Mencho, from one prison to another. 30 in the morning, the Secretary of Security of Mexico City Omar Garcia suffered an attack when he had left his house and was on his way to the meeting of the Security Cabinet. In the social networks and in the news, you could see videos and images of the moment of the attack, the amount of shells fired and the bullets that managed to penetrate the houses surrounding the area demonstrated the firepower of the attackers. Members of the Security Cabinet. Members of the Mexico City Police managed to repel the attack and get the security secretary out alive. 2 members of his team of bodyguards lost their lives. A civilian woman who was walking near the area of the attack also died. A policeman who served the cartel's forces gave information about Omar Garcia's movements, his address, his timetables, his routes and his movements. The police officer managed to survive the attack perpetrated by the cartel that has become an expert in ambushes had failed, but the message was clear: the cartel is in charge, stop bothering.